What's up, my reseller friends? My name is Sabrina. I thrift to resell on eBay and Mercari, and this is my full-time job. Well, I'm super stoked because I do have this new setup in my workspace. I am thinking of making a video to show you what I did because it has really been helping me list a lot faster, just the way I have things set up now. I do plan on pretty much remodeling this whole area down the line. But what I've got going on right now is working really good. So that was a huge up for me this week. But I will say that my sales have been down. Now, I'm a firm believer that anybody who sells on eBay consistently, they should be shipping out about 1% of their store daily. So if you have 100 items listed, you should be shipping out 1 item. If you got 1,000 items listing, you should be shipping out 10. Now, I've got 1,400 items. So I believe that I should on average be shipping out 14 items a day. Now, I was successful doing that last week, but this week I've averaged about 11 or 12. So I see that as a slow week. I'm going to be showing you some items that I feel are easy bread and butter items to find out there while you're sourcing that you can make a profit off of. I'm going to tell you about a mistake I made and how I handled it and how I handle unpaid items. All right.
Bong is a really good bread and butter item for me. I always have luck selling it. It doesn't sell for a lot, but it sells decent. And I always find them at yard sales. I normally pay $1 or less for them. I wouldn't pay more than $3. This one sold for $12 plus $5 shipping. Always be on the lookout for wrestling DVDs. My brother is a huge wrestling fan, and he has a bunch of DVDs, and he gives them to me from time to time to sell for him. This one sold very quickly within 2 days of being listed, and it sold for my full asking price of $30. I did not have best offer turned on this one because, for one, it wasn't my item, it was my brother's, and I really wanted him to get as much money for it as possible. So I knew that it was worth $30 and that someone would pay it, and they pay, and it sold very quickly. Next is this Frank Sinatra box set of CDs. Now, the reason I'm showing you this is because I almost didn't list it because it had, see here where it's kind of coming apart. So I felt kind of like, oh, well, it's not worth that much. Should I list it? I did get it in a lot of CDs that I bought. So I didn't handpick this item to sell, but I had it anyways. And I was just like, you know what? Whatever. I'm just going to show the buyer that this part is coming apart. And if it doesn't sell, it doesn't sell, but I have it. It's going to be fast to list. Why not? And sure enough, it sold for $11 free shipping. It cost me $3.19 to ship it. So, you know, just don't be afraid to list things that have damage. Next is this Victoria's Secret long sleeve shirt. It's pink. Now, I have noticed that the market has become extremely saturated with pink. I mean, there's so much of it out there. And in the area where I live at, I find so much pink stuff everywhere. And it's really hard for me to not pick it up when I find it for so cheap. So these are like really great bread and butter items. So I did have it listed at $19. I had it on sale. It was 5% off at $18.03. And someone sent me an offer for $13. And I was just about to counter offer them for $16. But upon doing so, I noticed that the buyer is literally in the town right over from me. And it's a really, really small town too. So it was like, it seemed like a coincidence. So I just felt that as a sign. I was like, you know what? She's my neighbor. I'm going to give it to her for the $13. Whatever, you know? So yeah, I just thought that was kind of cool. Next is this Nike Pro Combat tank top for men. Nike Pro Combat always sells for me. I always pick it up. Again, this is another bread and butter item. I like to show these types of items on my channel because I like to show you the types of things that you can find out there that are findable type things that you can sell and make money off of. So always look for that Nike Pro Combat. When I lived in Colorado, I used to find it more. But in California, I do still find it a little bit. So I know it's something that you can find everywhere. So just be on the lookout for these. Get them for cheap. There's some of them that will sell for good money, but especially if you can find double X's, they'll sell really good. But don't pay up for these, especially if you see them at the Goodwill for like $7.99. That's way too expensive. But if you find these at the bins, at the yard sales, pick them up. Next is this little play school busy little girl figure doll. I think I bought this at a yard sale when I was just bundling a whole bunch of stuff together. My cost on this, if it's whatever my cost is very, very low. But I always like to pick up little things like this because, again, these are bread and butter things. I'm not getting rich off of them, but they all add up to being some pretty good sales, or to make pretty good sale days for me. Super easy to store, super easy to ship, easy to list. And then you can always use the Google Lens to find out what this particular item is. I always recommend that you do that because if you could put you could put the name of what she is in the title, it will sell extremely faster. Next is this Santa Cruz tank top. Santa Cruz is a beach in the Northern California area. This is where I grew up in San Jose, where Santa Cruz was pretty much a 40-minute drive up the mountains. Beautiful beach. It's where they filmed Lost Boys. It's a really, really awesome place. I love Santa Cruz. I miss it. But if you can find anything that says Santa Cruz on it, it will sell pretty well. This sold for $14 plus the cost of shipping. So this little guy, I paid 50 cents for him. It's an Intel promotional plush. Now, when I was looking up comps, I was like, oh my gosh, there's like so many of these on eBay and there's not very many sold comps. So I kind of hesitated on if I wanted to list him or not. And I was just like, again, this comes down to I already have it. I can list this fast. It's easy to store, easy to ship. Sabrina, just list it. But list it the price competitively. So that's what I did, and it sold within a week. And I'm glad that I listed it because, otherwise it just would have been money that I was throwing away. Next is this lot of little girl leggings. Now I did buy a huge lot of little girl clothes at a yard sale. I paid $40. I filled up my trunk full of kids' clothes. I've talked about these in my other videos, how I like selling kids' clothes. They don't sell for a lot, but all these little sales add up. So when I bundle things, I try to bundle like items that are like similar to each other, because if a mom's like, I really need leggings for my daughter, I don't want to go to the store, I'm trying to save money, and if she pulls this up and is like, oh my gosh, I can get 6 leggings for X amount of dollars, this is a good deal, I'll go pull the trigger. So that's why I list these. So I wanted to talk to you about this sale because I made a mistake. And I always like talking about my mistakes because, for one, talking about them helps me to be accountable for it. And then it helps remind me not to make this mistake again. And then also to give you advice on how to handle something like this if it happens to you. So someone bought this, and then they bought another one that was very similar. It was like this tiny little teacup, but it was like had different color flowers on it. And they bought both of them. And they had messaged me asking if it would be okay if I would send them an invoice combining shipping. So I'm like, yes, of course. So I went and I pulled these items out of inventory so that I could see how much it was going to cost me to ship. That way I can invoice them. And upon doing so, I realized that the other one had a little broken piece on it. And it was totally my fault. I don't know if you can see in this picture on here behind me because I'm so small, but if you could see some cubicles back there, I literally just stuck them inside one of those cubicles, and it totally broke because it was my fault because I didn't store it securely. So that's my advice to you. If you have things that are fragile, breakable, it's probably better to wrap them in bubble wrap or secure them somewhere before storing them. I normally do. I got lazy with this one and I'm paying the price for it now. So what I ended up doing was I canceled the one that broke, and I just told the buyer, just pay for the one that's not broken, and I will still send you the other one that's broken, even though you're not paying for it. I will send it to you for free. And I will include the broken piece with it because you should be able to glue it. So that's what I decided to do because it was my fault, and it's going to cost me a little bit extra on shipping because of that. However, I wanted to make the buyer happy, and I really don't have anything else to do with that item anymore because it's broken. So if I didn't give it to her, it literally would have just gone in the trash. So I wanted to still give her that item. So that's how I handled it. The buyer was she was very understanding, and she did appreciate that I was still going to send her the piece, and she thanked me. So hopefully it will end up in some positive feedback, and I will learn not to make that same mistake again, and I will store my items better. I normally don't buy things like this. I did get it at a yard sale because this particular yard sale, I bought a ton of things for it because the lady there was just trying to get rid of her stuff. Like, she literally told me, whatever doesn't sell within the next hour, I'm just going to donate it to Goodwill. So just give me anything for the stuff, you know? So I made like a huge bundle of all kinds of stuff, and I bought a lot of things from that girl, but this was one of them. And I was just like, I'm not really experienced selling this type of stuff, but you know, if I'm getting this for super cheap or free or whatever, let's just give it a try. But I typically don't sell this kind of stuff, and I really don't think I want to continue selling fragile stuff very much, but we'll see. You never know. Next is this double feature of Halloween Part 4 and 5. This sold for $40. Now, I would have sold this faster, but I made a huge mistake where in the pictures, I forgot to upload the second disc. So I only showed one disc in the picture. So this picture wasn't there. It was just this one. So somebody had messaged me asking, does it come with 2 discs or 1? Like, they were kind of confused by it. So I was like, oh my gosh, somehow I didn't upload that picture. So I responded back to that person, and I said, yes, it comes with 2. And then they responded back. They're all, cool, will you take $25 for it? And I was like, oh no, sorry, price is firm. I always say that to customers, or to buyers when they message me asking for a lower price, because most of my items have best offer on, but I would say probably about 5% of my listings don't. And there's a reason for it. That's because my price is firm. I've already am listing it for as low as I would take. So whenever people will private message me if I take a certain price, most of the time I just respond letting them know that I super appreciate their interest in the item, but unfortunately, price is firm right now. But if it doesn't sell within a month, I may consider your offer if you're still interested. So that's normally how I respond to something like that. And sometimes the buyers just buy it. But then anyways, it ended up selling shortly after. I'm totally not even sure if it was the person who was messaging me or not. But somebody did buy it shortly after that and paid the full $40 for it. Great bolos. You know, I heard that Halloween stuff sells really well, like the DVDs and whatnot. I did list a Halloween VHS before, and I think that one sold for about $10. And $10 for a VHS is actually pretty good. So, you know, if you can get this stuff for cheap, always pick them up. I paid $1 for this at a yard sale. Next is the Kermit the Frog pin. It's an official Disney pin. I did have it listed for $30 for the longest time. I had it listed for maybe about 4 or 5 months. Someone sent me an offer for $22, and it was during a day that I was having like really slow sales. So I was like, it is a little bit lower than I wanted to accept. However, I do really want to get some sales, so I'll take the $22. But I would definitely recommend that if you do decide to sell Disney pins, that you do your research, because there are so many fakes out there. You do not want to be messing around with selling fake items on eBay. Um, it's just something that's not good. But if you do research online, it's really easy. You really will be able to tell if one is fake or not. And a lot of times you could just tell by the way it feels, if it feels and looks fake. You can tell the difference. But also, even though I don't collect Disney pins, I am a huge Disney person. I'm pretty much at Disney like every other weekend I go. So, I'm always looking in the stores and at merchandise or whatnot. So, I'm around these pins all the time. I see them. So I kind of have a good understanding of what they look like. Next is this vintage Colorado Rockies t-shirt. And the reason why I'm showing you this one is because to me, this looked like one that would sell like really fast for high dollar because, oh, I got a sale, because it is single stitched. It's from the 90s. And then if you can see right there where it says Rockies in the middle, it's like a patch. And I don't know, it just has a lot of detail on it. It's a really cool shirt. I had this listed for like a year and a half. And no one was buying it. And I just kept dropping the price. And finally I got $10 plus shipping for it. I was just like, whatever, I'm tired of looking at it. Someone just buy it. So yeah, and this just goes to show you that not all vintage single stitch shirts sell for a lot of money. I always recommend picking them up because I think I paid $1 for this shirt. I can't remember, so long ago. It could have even been cheaper, but it was at least $1. And I turned it around into $10 plus shipping, so it was still worth it to buy it. I just wish I would have just known and listed it for cheaper in the beginning, and it would have been gone faster. Next is this Hot Topic sweater. I always pick up the Hot Topic brand. Again, another really great bread and butter item for me that I always grab. This sold probably within a week of listing it, but the person took about a week to pay for it. So normally the way I handle it when buyers don't pay, sorry, I have my garage door open. When buyers don't pay, I give them a few days. I don't message them. I don't bother them. It's just like whatever. So after a couple of days without them paying, I'll send an invoice. And then I'll give them another day or so. And if they still don't pay, then I'll send them a message and I'll just let them know, if you need more time to pay, just let me know. I'm fine with waiting. But if you change your mind, also please let me know. That way I can cancel and relist the item. So that's normally how I go about that. I normally give people about a week. Yeah, that's just me. That's just my business model. Most of the time, people pay. Most of the time, if you give them at least a week, they will pay. There's been so many times where it's like on the third, fourth, fifth day, I'm like tempted just to cancel and relist it, and then they end up paying like the next day. So for people who do that, who cancel these right away when they don't pay, you actually could be losing out, because they probably would have ended up paying if you just would have been a little bit more patient. But I also understand if people don't want to be patient and they just want to get their item sold and they don't feel like waiting. I understand that too. It's just the way I do it. Next is this Rodney and Rana reindeer vintage Hallmark plush. These sold for $16.99 plus the cost of shipping. These are great bolos. But the funny thing about it is their names super remind me of the names of the people we bought our house from. Their names are Ron and Rana. What are the chances of that? Funny, huh? Next is this Eminem hat. Going back again, bolos are Eminem items. I always pick up things of Eminem. I guess there's like a cult following of Eminem merchandise or something. I don't know, but yeah, this stuff, Eminem stuff, sells great for me. $14 plus the cost of shipping. I paid $1 for it at a yard sale. Next is this Hello Kitty shirt. I've actually had really good luck selling Hello Kitty things. It sells really well. It sells fast. As long as it's not like the cheap Hello Kitty. If you could look at this one and look at the tag, this is like Sanrio, like quality Hello Kitty stuff. This sold for, I actually think I accepted an offer on it for 15, I believe. But yeah, I always pick up Hello Kitty if it's not like cheapy stuff. Last item is another one that I wanted to tell you about, just letting the buyers know in the description if there's something wrong, because I wasn't going to list this item. I took all the pictures. I had the draft ready and everything. And then I realized this like as I was taking the pictures. Let me see if I could find it. Like right here, if you could see on the armpit area, like it seems like it's like darker down there, right? And there's other random spots on the shirt that look like that. And I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't list it. But I was like, you know what? I've already done all the work. I'll just enclose it. So I did put on here. Parts of the shirt have darker spots. Not sure if it's meant to be that way or not. So I'm listing this top at a bargain price. So I just put that in the listing, and somebody sent me an offer for $6.99 plus the cost of shipping. I took it because, I wasn't going to list it, but now I got that $7. So I was happy. And then the buyer ended up leaving me positive feedback. So I know all is good.
Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I hope you found this video helpful in any way at all. Please subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Don't forget to like this video. It helps me out in the YouTube algorithm. And never forget, when you thrift upon a star, all your dreams will come true. I'll see you all in my next video. Good luck on your sales this week. Bye.
Not messaging me.
Yeah, buddy.